So I decided I wanted to address this question in a video just because it's a topic that I wanted to talk about, but I figured this could be like the beginning. So I wanted to talk about wisdom versus arrogance. Knowledge based in wisdom and knowledge based in arrogance. And there's a difference. In this day and age, we are getting an influx of information, a streaming of knowledge of things that we may not have known before. And it's also because we're on social media where it becomes open, where people can communicate more frequently or more vastly. But you have to be able to discern that knowledge between wisdom and arrogance. See, wisdom is defined as knowledge, experience, good judgment. Arrogance is defined as one's abilities or achievements that powers itself. This is arrogance versus wisdom. You have to be able to use truth as a rating scale in order to determine whether the knowledge you have is wisdom or whether the knowledge you have is arrogant. And arrogance seeks to power itself. That's how it works in this world. And I want to bring it back to what happened in Genesis, where they did eat the apple, eat the fruit, and they were given knowledge, the knowledge of good and evil. As what's happening right now, we're giving knowledge all over. We're finding out maybe this food isn't exactly what they say it is. We're finding out maybe this system isn't exactly what it say it is. But in the end, you have to turn it into what does it do for you and what does it do for humanity? See, the measure of wisdom is to empower others. That's wisdom. It's to empower others through sharing of life experience of that, of knowledge of which is rooted in good judgment and truth. Arrogant knowledge is rooted in the self. Again, it's rooted in a lack of humility, a lack of humbleness. Again, you're talking to someone who has bitten the fruit. I mean, I've went into all avenues to seek knowledge, but wisdom is what I've gained through my experience. Understand? So I went through the Gnostic text. I went through the canonical text. I went through the apocalyptic text. And instead of recognizing all the differences, I like to recognize patterns, because that is what makes me like a spiritual detective. Because the rating scale is truth. And the truth is absolute. That's the greatest thing about that measure. It's not 95%. It's not 90%. It's 100% because it's absolute. So with that measure scale of truth, it's inarguable. And that's what I seek to go to, the unarguable, to the incorruptible. You understand what I'm saying? So as I've bitten the fruit and went through all these gates of knowledge, I found out something. And that measure is there's a difference between the wisdom and the arrogance. Boom. So this person says to me, because in the Gnostic text, the people that have interpreted that text have interpreted it incorrectly. The person asked me, Christ said that your father is the father of all lies and he's the father of murder and blah, blah, blah. And when I went back to Genesis, when they ate the fruit, they did not die. But Adam and Eve did die. They did die. And their children died. So again, you have to use that measure, that rating scale of truth. Because he didn't say when they would die. He said they would die, and they did. Then this person asked me, whenever is knowledge a sin? Oh, my dear friend, knowledge can definitely be a sin. Let me tell you something. Someone that is ritually sacrificing kids, something that most of us have not done, has the knowledge to do that. Is it a sin? Absolutely. Knowledge does not mean good or evil. Knowledge is knowledge. But the knowledge that you know, does it work in a way that is not arrogant, but is wisdom? You understand? So knowledge can be a sin. Too much information can cause crash of your brain program. You have to understand something. Because the Gnostic text is interpreted incorrectly. Because the people that wanted that to happen wanted you to not know about the soul. And they say they think they got this knowledge to fight who's keeping us here. You can't fight who you cannot see. Who, in fact, you are still confined to their judgments. You have to understand your form. This is why being based in reality is so important in order to understand the spiritual and what Christ did, in fact. Because do you know him? He asked them. You see me, but do you know me? You have to understand your form. You are a human being. Someone smacks you, you feel pain. Someone cuts you, you bleed. You feel hungry, you eat, so you do not die. This is your human form. Do not ever take on an arrogant knowledge that makes you forget that. Because again, as women bear child through pain, it is through the judgments of the Most High, your Creator. You must understand that. This is why I have to bring it back to the Bible, the canonical text. You must understand, as a Gentile, you have to understand the Israelites. You have to understand the Jews, because they understand that discipline. They understand that knowledge that they indeed have a Creator. Gnostic text interpreted incorrectly will make you think that, we now know that the devil is running us, so let's go fight him. You are still in a human form. You are still subjected to the punishment that God gave you. And there is a counterfeit. But the counterfeit is not the Most High. It is not Yahweh. The counterfeit is that bitten apple on the back of your phones. Your technology, your artificial intelligence, all your knowledge that doesn't serve to give wisdom, but serves to power itself. And Yahweh is not a liar, because in fact, Adam and Eve did die. Their children died, their children's children died, and that is the continuing cycle of this human form that we have. So again, you have to recognize truth and lies. You have to be able to identify the imposter. An imposter takes the blueprint of something and creates a replication that could never be the original, but tries its hardest to be. I want you to think of the strawberry fruit and the strawberry candy. The strawberry fruit is what is natural, is what is God-given. The strawberry candy is a derivative. It's a form, a simulation of the original. Is the strawberry candy more healthy than the strawberry itself? Absolutely not. But you have to be able to discern that truth and who in fact is an imposter, who in fact is taking power from you in order to power its system. Again, you have to look at what this technology does, this 5G. This 5G doesn't power us. It powers these phones. It powers this system, but it does not power us. Who powers you? How are you here right now? Why are you here? Then your next statement was, doesn't that make Yahweh a narcissist? Well, let's define what a narcissist is. A person who has excessive means of self-admiration, in which is not really justified, right? Actually, I want you to think about something you do. You do a piece of work. Don't you want honor? Don't you want praise for what you've done? That is not narcissism. That is just due. Why is it that you expect a being who created the world that you inhabit, created the food that you eat, created all of this, and wanting the just due, the praise that he deserves, and claiming that is narcissism? Narcissism is the false god, the false imposter, who hasn't given you a thing but only has taken from you to power itself, and then saying, honor me because I have taken from you. That doesn't make any sense. Technology world, this artificial intelligence world, this is what it is. Because it's not powering you. It doesn't power you at all. In fact, it takes away from you, which is why these cancer rates are so high. It doesn't power you at all. It only takes power from you, your labor, your time, your work, your efforts, to power a system in which people that are running you are condemned and not able to ascend to the Most High, but are only stuck here. You have to recognize reality in order to base it into spiritual. You can't lean on your own understanding, because your own understanding is only reflective of the biases that you have. You have to be able to look at every part and be a spiritual detective. What is knowledge if it doesn't help others? Truly help others. And I don't mean help others in the means of material blessings or material world. Absolutely not. I mean help others in the ascension to the Most High. Because that is why you are here. He who winneth souls wins for the kingdom. Doesn't talk about winning bodies. He talks about winning souls. And then lastly, you wrote that Yahweh is love and righteousness, and he's not ever power controller. Oh, my friend, you are dearly deceived. You have to understand his name, his true name, which is I am. That's it. I am. He can be, I am anger, I am righteousness, I am this, I am, he is. Meaning all. Deceit comes in the forms of flattery, of pretty words, that deflect truth, may use truth in a way that empowers itself. Again, you have to be able to discern arrogant knowledge versus wisdom knowledge. Okay? Yahweh is not simply love and peace. No. This is the error of the Christian ideology. In fact, I'm actually going to do a video talking about the commonalities of religions and becoming a spiritual detective. But that's another video. But in this video, the focus is that Yahweh is not only love and peace. Please, no. That is so false, not even funny. Yahweh is encompassing of all. And that's it. And that's what you need to understand. The fake Christian ideology makes you believe that he's love and peace to keep you in sin, to keep you in error of ways, to keep you in the realm of you can deem what is righteous. Absolutely not. Again, do not fall for the imposter, the one who gives you false freedom. Do as thou wilt, he says, right? Satan, Baphomet, whoever. Do as thou wilt. Let me liken it to reality so that it can make sense to you in mind. In reality, say you have a child. Your child will not rear you no matter how much you tell it, no, this is not what you're supposed to do, because this is what will help you in the end. This is what Yahweh is to us. He's a father, Abba, who shows to us this isn't the right way. But because we're so stubborn and hard-headed, he's like, okay, go out into the world and make your own judgments, where the imposter is in fact your God, your leader. A father that tells you do as thou wilt, who has no reproof or discipline for you, could never be a good father. You know that as a parent. You should know that. And if you don't know that as a Gentile, you need to hearken on to the Israelites who were reared to understand, to honor thy mother and thy father. Think about in real life. Most of the times, the father is seen as the disciplinary. Because he got that strength. Okay? That's what Yahweh is. That's what Abba is. He has that strength. And the mother, the feminine figure, would be someone who can understand where you're coming from, but making you know, Daddy puts down the belt. Yeah. And that's what it is. Okay? As I say that, I have to bring it back to Genesis. It was the knowledge of good and evil. But then they wanted to eat from the tree of life, the tree of eternal life, which is what Yahshua HaMashiach, that's what he was talking about. He was the laughing man in the tree after his crucifixion. You know, people focus on the death so much, but he was the laughing man in the tree. He was the laughing man in the tree because he understood all forms, all means of true wisdom, understanding and humbling yourself to a creator, because you are out of line if you think that you can overtake an authority, overtake who created you. That is never going to happen, my friend, ever. And anybody telling you that you can fight the being that created this whole world, you're out of your mind. Don't ever be fooled. Don't be tricked. Imposter will use arrogant knowledge to make you feel like you're above who created you, when since a creation is greater than its creator. You have to humble yourself. That is love. What Yahweh is doing to us right now is love, because he's rearing us. He's making us understand that we need to become one, not individualized, but being one in unity of the heart, of the spirit, of the soul, of the body, one mind, one soul, one flesh. Everything is meant to keep us together, not apart. Arrogant knowledge will keep you apart. The imposter father will keep you individualized, which is why you are individualized in your lives, your business, your CEO, you're this. False pride in thinking that you are something more than you could ever be. What's a boss and a CEO to the king of the whole entire world? Nothing. My friend, you have to realize that Yahweh is not simply love and righteousness. That's false, my love. That's a coddle love. That's a false fake mother here. Fake mother spirit, fake Jezebel spirit here. That makes you think that love is just being nice and kind to you no matter how much they see you degrading and turning into filth. A true person that loves you would never leave you in filth, but rear you, mold you to become better than what you are, what you have become. This is why I always say, remember who you are. Because anything away from the source is dying, which is why our forms are like this, because we're away from the Most High, who charges us, who powers us. and doesn't take power away from us, but powers us. I hope you can understand what I'm saying. So there's a difference between wisdom and arrogant knowledge, okay? Yahweh is empathy because he understands what his creation is. He understands that. He sees that. He's like, okay, these are my children. My children have to learn the hard way. And this is what is happening now. We're learning the hard way. It's okay to have difficulty. It's okay to not understand. It's okay to question. I just think it's something that's kind of like crazy to not question something, especially if you have a cognitive human brain functioning and you obviously see something and you're like, wait a minute, that doesn't really make any sense. But then you have to always use that rating scale of truth, that rating scale of understanding, and that rating scale of your reality. Because through your reality, this is why we are living souls and not just a book. You learn things, you learn patterns, you learn ways, you learn truths that are absolute. So that's what it is, okay? That is who Yahweh is. That is who the Most High is. And all of these texts, removed or canonical, have a means to go towards the truth. Have a means to understand that we are human and the Most High is our creator. Got it?